Hey everybody, welcome to Forage to Foods. I'm Justin Knobb, co-founder of Myco Mecca Mushrooms, and your host. So today we got an exciting episode. We're going to be talking wild berries, specifically summer wild berries. So come on, let's take a tour and check out what we find. The term invasive can be used for this one here. This Japanese variety of berry, known as wineberry, is one that's up and coming very heavily in this area, and it has been for the last few years. It's got a very bright silvery bottom leaf. They grow in threes. The berry pods are very unique. As you can see, they are fuzzy. Stem, thorny, like most berries. I believe I saw some ripening ones here. Here we go. You can see how that pod opens up to expose the berries. Now they don't, this one here is about ripe. Got a couple, got about another day or so, but that's about the color you'd be looking for with these. These are some sticky, sweet, delicious berries. Discovered a small patch of what we're gonna find out is a blackberry. Now the taxonomy on this one is very confusing. I'm not even sure what we're gonna do. We're gonna call this Rubus frusicosus. Rubus. There's so much hybridizing, about 100 different species that fall under the blackberry. But the determining factor of this blackberry, you can see we have the 3 leaves of the Rubus family, and it is barbed, spiked heavily. Let's see this larger one here. But when we get to the fruits, this is important. See, when this fruit pulled off, the star remained, but that core is inside that berry. That is deciding or determining factor of the blackberry, separating it from the black raspberry, which we will see harvested later. Blackberry, Rubus. So how bad is the wineberry problem? Well, I just hiked for a little over an hour and found evidence of multiple wineberry bushes starting up and no black raspberries, which is a native species to this area. I find myself down here, or up here, from where I was hiking to my grandma's house, where she grows black raspberries in her garden. Just to show you guys an example, this is the problem with wineberries. So here we have a cultivator species of Rubus occidentalis, or the black raspberry. This is a variety called an ever-bearing variety, and they will actually last a lot longer than the short season of the native black raspberries. But when we pick one of these, we're going to see just the evidence that we're looking for. So black raspberries, as opposed to blackberries, will leave a little bit of their fruit on the stem, giving them a more hollow appearance when picked. This is a determining factor of your black raspberries to your blackberries on the vine, especially just the fruits. Now, if you look deeper onto the plant, typically your raspberries will have a whitish stem, sometimes fading with age to green, but that's something you typically won't see with your blackberries. They're going to be a little less thorny, but there is thornless blackberries too, so that isn't by itself a determining factor. This though, hollow fruit, it leaving its little stumps on the vine or on the bramble, that there tells you you have a black raspberry. So I just hiked for about another 30 minutes or so. I'm still kicking around my grandma's property and my dad's property here in Dillsburg, and lo and behold, I found a stronghold of raspberries trying to come. Let's see, we got, look at this beautiful white stem, bluish white, and 3 leaves. We got a group here, we got another one starting here. Looks like we got a little invasive ladybug on that one. That's not the normal ladybug. Let's see, got some taller ones here. But I even have the littlest fruit to show you guys. It's a wild one. See how that popped off? Now it's hollow on the inside. Definitely a black raspberry. Yeah. We have an underrated berry of the wild, the Rubus flagellaris, or the American dewberry. Now this is a large classification of multiple berries. So there's varieties throughout the US specifically, but it is of the blackberry family. You can see these leaves here. And it does have small barbs, not really too spiky, but small barbs on its, you can see it sticking to me there a little bit, leaves. The plants don't grow very large. We're looking at one here. It runs up and goes right there. It's got maybe 5 berries on it total. But they do grow in typical berry brambles. So I am in one right now. This one happens to be right along a trail, which is nice. But you can see all the way out through here we have some berries. And they come up pretty high in there a little bit. These are an edible variety, the dewberry. Came across this section of woods just completely full of this little shrub bush, little laurel. This laurel here is Lindera benzoin, the northern spice bush. Now I'm going to talk about the berries on this episode, but this little laurel bush here deserves an episode on its own, and I will touch on it in a few others. But these berries here will start off green and turn red with age. However, they are edible at any state. These boys carry a fragrant smell of allspice, just on a little bit on the sweeter side. I dry these and use them for pickling throughout the year. They are super aromatic, and that'll carry right into the flavors. I'm trying to get the inside, I just blasted this one apart. But they're white. As they get older, they get the seed formation a little bit harder. They're completely soft at this state though, so pretty much the seed sitting on my finger there. And even though I'm sitting far away from this camera, or far away from my hand, I can already very strongly smell this northern spice bush berry. I typically harvest these when they're red, but you can get them while they're green as well. You see this beautiful northern spice bush. So much of it. Standing behind me, growing behind me, existing behind me, is the Acinema triloba, the largest native fruit in the Northeast America. This is the pawpaw. Now this fruit is extremely underrated, and it's gonna be well till it's ready yet. Here we got a beautiful one starting. A couple, 2 there. Got a patch of 3 there with one that looks like a little peanut. This is in the custard apple family. Flavors can range from a banana, mango, pear, vanilla, kind of in that general flavor profile. These leaves don't look like they're from Pennsylvania. They don't look northeastern. They look very tropical, and the fruit's flavor is, I mean, right along the same. Very tropical, very unique. These flowers, these create a flower of a burgundy color, almost maroon burgundy, and have a scent of rotting flesh. Why? They actually get pollinated by flies. So that stinky stench draws in the flies and help pollinate those brown colored, meat colored flowers. We just got plenty of pawpaws. This is the beginning of a patch of a grove. And the way that these grow is actually almost rhizomial in the ground. Rhizomal. So we are looking at potentially, in this 15 tree, 20 tree patch, only potentially a single pawpaw. Luckily, we have a patch up here, and then further up a patch, and further up a patch, and they had plenty of chance to get pollinated from another tree grove. and produce ample fruits coming in the fall. Here we have some Vacium Angustifolium, or low bush blueberries. You can see this plant does not get very large. We're on the ground, but it does produce a lot of berries. This bunching here that we're looking at is actually a noticeable factor to it not being a huckleberry. Huckleberries will grow in very singular to maybe a couple at a time, where these blueberries will always grow in bunches. So it takes a lot to get, you know, full meal from this plant. But they are out here, and they do grow in clusters, typically like little blueberry brambles. Got more behind me. So you get a meal quick. If not, best case, you got a little trail snack. This next one I'm gonna get ready to show you guys. The Rus typhinus, or is also known as the Staghorn Sumac. Can be found almost anywhere in northern or in central Pennsylvania, probably throughout Pennsylvania, alongside the roads, railroads especially, all along the highways and on the edges of farmer fields. All that being said, make sure that where you're picking this plant, picking these berries, that the berries haven't been sprayed, the tree hasn't been sprayed. You really need to talk to, if you're going to be hunting farmer lands, talk to the farmer and make sure that they're not doing anything on the tree lines around their properties to affect the berries' edibility. I am in the game lands here in York County, in an area that I know they're not allowed to spray in due to waterways. So I'm going to peek around this field and see if we can't find some Staghorn Sumac. Found this very thick black raspberry. Let's see this white. Got some blackberries mixed in there too. Blackberry here, black raspberry there. Nice little patch of black raspberry and blackberries, it seems. But if we look up, you can see this little interesting leaf selection. You may have seen these. You can see that baby right there. That's your Staghorn Sumac berry bunch, and that's the section that you're harvesting. So let me get that down for you guys. I'm just going to use some garden clippers, shears to cut off the top there. A pole saw is another thing that's useful, something that can reach up there without bending the tree too much, because they will snap. Well, whew. It was not the easiest berries to get down. I ended up having to climb the tree a bit, and they are soft trees. I didn't break the tree, but I could hear it cracking under my weight, so do be careful when harvesting. Try and pick some, like I said, with a pole saw, minimize climbing, but got the Staghorn Sumacs.